But does hold his ground, I can just see Tox struggling.
No, I think you're right. We're going into map number 1 shortly. Here's the champion pick. Blood Covenant, going to be the first to decide things. We've got 2 slashes. We've got the Nyx and the Sorlag from Tox, and that is also going to be Slash, Nyx, and Doomslayer from cYpheR. Now, just to provide a bit of insight to people who might be a little bit newer to watching Quake Champions, a lot of us have heard of these names in the past, of course, but if you were to give something about cYpheR that you have to look out for, and one of his major strengths, you really want to check out how good his rockets are. He's had some unbelievable highlights already this tournament. And if you're going in with Tox, the Swedish guy in his home crowd, you really want to watch out for his lightning gun and rail, and especially the rail, as it's been just amazing lately when he's going with those fast slash plays. Those, in terms of how good they are with these weapons, you're looking at top of the world right now.
Yes, but then, as we said, cYpheR can do exactly the same thing. So I don't think anyone in this match has any real weaknesses we should be looking out for, because it's going to be the epitome of what you can expect in terms of mechanical play with Quake, but also the adaptability we can see from cYpheR, the way he can manage that transition from attack to defense, his positioning is spot on. I just think all of those qualities presents far more of a rounded duel style compared to Tox, but I hope Tox can show me up.
Well, let's get into it, guys. DreamHack Winter 2017 Quake Champions Invitational. Tox versus cYpheR are going to get started. We are on cYpheR at the moment. He is going to be getting the mega health. He's got the lightning gun too to work on. And with Tox getting a good start with the rail and the rockets, cYpheR's going to see if he can negotiate those weapons for himself. So far, so good.
Often we see the rocket launcher heavily defended by the person that gets the spawn on the bridge, but cYpheR, recognizing his opportunity to skip across very quickly and picks up all the necessary weapons as well as doing damage. So an ideal start for the Belarusian.
Definitely. Now looking down and trying to get rocket. Oh my god, Tox with the slash trail. That was just perfectly timed. Saw what he was trying to do. But cYpheR comes right back at it.
This sacrifice.
All right, so you can do it. I can do it better. I think that's what we're getting between the two of them. Nice to see things are balanced here at the start.
Back to even keel. cYpheR with the weapon advantage instead of the rail. Not going to be able to probably use that advantage as Tox should be able to get it relatively easily now he's on that side of the map.
Seeing the battle between these two as well to find the better slash, I think is something we can enjoy throughout this match. But with that Ghost Walk exited, was looking to do a bit more damage, but didn't quite find it. And we've got Tox hanging around, but so much damage here from cYpheR. Tox is going to need to get away. He's highly vulnerable at the moment.
He's also utilized the Ghost Walk already, and cYpheR is in a precarious situation. Less than 80 health, so doesn't want to push in. A good rail by Tox, keeping him at bay for now, but he still has a good 10 seconds to spare before that Ghost Walk is back up.
I can't believe he hung around before when he had 70 health. Never count on Tox to just miss a rail like that. Getting himself to somewhere a little more comfortable. He's going to try and challenge on this heavy. Tox has vacated the area, and cYpheR looks like he might be chasing soon with that mega health spawning.
Definitely, just keeping Tox out of the zone. The priority now for cYpheR is trying to put a little bit of pressure on while Tox is on the lower ground, trying to hit some damage, force out the Ghost Walk. Plenty of time between the items, and cYpheR stack, meaning he doesn't need to pick it up straight away. Could use it as a fallback item rather than just diving straight onto it. Needs to try and clear Tox away to make it safe.
A little bit of information. cYpheR's happy to see those rockets fly by. Searching for a rail, but neither player's connecting at the moment. Tox closes the gap just for a second, but he's the one who has to be careful, as you can see that health and armor just below his character portrait. Spamming those rockets out, but it is the Ghost Walk of the Nyx. He's not going to get any love from that, and I think he sees that it's being used. This could be a good chance for cYpheR to bite. If he can close the gap, surely attain this frag.
So many close rails, none of them connecting for either player just yet, as we feel our way into this first round of the duel.
I think that's definitely what they're doing. I'm sure cYpheR will warm up to it, his first time on the stage today.
Tox playing slightly passive, a lot of respect coming out from Tox's side as cYpheR's more than happy to capitalize on that, taking the more aggressive stance as he pushes in. The Ghost Walker is going to be forced out, and cYpheR, is he going to guess right?
Well, he's going to come in from the top entrance, see if he can find him. Did you hear that bounce pad we can take it? Oh,
he's out of rails.
Oh no, that would have been it. Is he going to chase through the teleporter? He knows exactly where he is. Tox is going to walk back in. He's going to try to escape through the teleporter. He can't make it. Shotgun is going to be the perfect choice. And cYpheR will get himself in the lead on this round. Still a minute and a half to go.
Tox should not be really sticking around here, as cYpheR could use that speed to get in, and Tox just sticking around far, far too long.
What was such a risk right at the end? He just hung around there. He still had time to go, but he felt like this is the moment. Maybe a misread on cYpheR's stack?
It's more that sometimes cYpheR just has this ability to put out more damage than you expect. Tox in a reasonably safe position, spamming out that there, got a few connections, makes it all worth it, but cYpheR just with the extra jump doing another 30-40 damage, and Tox didn't expect to go down.
Well, it looks like we've got the same starting spawns on this round as Tox picks up the railgun and the rocket launcher rapidly. And I would like to see him do a bit more weapon control. That rail surely acquired by cYpheR, unless he took a detour. Oh, that would have actually killed cYpheR if he hit that one. He's moving around the map very quickly. He seems to have that confidence, but we're not quite seeing the same connection. Oh, before, just as I say that, he lands this absolutely phenomenal mid-air.
Just instantly picking up the pace, catching cYpheR mid-air. And the air rockets is not something we normally see from Tox.
Oh. Good return fire there from cYpheR. Now, is this the start of him getting into the swing of things? He finds him down below, going through the plasma trail. He did a lot of damage then. And the rocket finds its target, fading away. And cYpheR, he's suffering, having a great round one. This is very different.
Yeah, definitely. And this time his Tox is connecting with his rails. And a couple of nice rockets as well. cYpheR doesn't have a rail yet either, so something Tox might be aware of. Oh, he did skip across to get the rail.
Tox is putting on unreal pressure at the moment. Has he heard where he is?
Nice.
He keeps landing these shots. Another rail, can't quite make it. Another cYpheR putting pressure on. He's got to be very careful. But this is nice. Gets high ground for a moment, looking for one more angle. Won't be finding it. He can't afford to let go of this mega health if he wants to perpetuate that control any longer.
Tox showing much nicer as he connects with another rail.
He's looking just to do damage on the items at the moment, rather than anything else. He keeps landing these shots. One more rail would completely cripple cYpheR. Even that splash puts him on a deadly amount of health.
He does have cYpheR penned in like a farm animal at the moment. Nothing to work with.
That's what you do with Slash, isn't it?
You just fly around the map, but that's a great rocket by cYpheR. Going super aggressive, but not going to pay off.
Brilliant rockets. You've got to be careful when you've got that Doomslayer coming close to you. You could see he was on about 7 points of health, 5 armor, but retaliate. Oh, he's just showing how well-versed he is with absolutely every single weapon. Now I was pointing the finger at LG and Rail. Cannot forget what he can do with those rockets.
Soon as Tox got off to that great start with the air rocket, he picked up the pace immediately, and as you said, was consistently pressuring cYpheR on the item, something he wasn't able to do in the first round. And that forced cYpheR onto the back foot, and he was never able to sustain the pressure.
cYpheR, again, is not able to get that railgun early on. Has to definitely fight his way into the map so that he can get the weapons needed. Destroying all the bookcases on his way around.
Yeah, the absolute key for cYpheR is to get rid of that Slash. That is the one key facet Tox has to sustain serious pressure. Once that speed advantage is gone, cYpheR looks a lot more comfortable on the map. So until that happens, cYpheR needs to play very careful. That's why we'll see him slowing the pace down around these corners, trying to force Tox into these close combat situations, because one of the things about Slash is, yes, she can be incredibly fast, but that sliding capability can be a weakness if you get trapped.
He keeps hitting these rockets, and he managed to swing around with the lightning gun too. All of a sudden, all that chip damage was adding up. And Tox just ended up walking into a death pit. And as you said, that Slash has been so crucial for Tox. He's lost out on this now.
But cYpheR also still needs to get a rail. Good read there on with the rockets, none of them connecting. As soon as he gets a rail, then we can see a bit more confidence coming out as he probably play the higher levels, getting across the two sides of the map. Not too worried that Tox is picking up any items at the moment, because the rail was the priority for cYpheR.
It's just going to pull away as that angle would have enveloped itself. I think Maybe he was just baiting Tox into thinking he wanted to go for that rail when he played Slash, but...
We can see already, since the Slash has gone now, Tox is the one to play slower and positional.
Well, with a Nyx versus Nyx, it can be one way or the other. cYpheR might meet up in a second. Could be a small trap. He's got the rail switch, but they're going to force into Ghost Walk.
They both popped at the same time, and there's a great rail by Tox.
Yeah, he just hung around and said, all I've got to do is make sure I do not miss this shot, and it is going to be absolutely fine. cYpheR, finger out.
He knows the Ghost Walk is down. This is where the pressure will be. He has no capability to get onto the high ground, though.
So with the rocket, probably would have jumped up straight away. But Tox might find a couple of time shards at the bottom of the pillar room. He needs to find a little bit of stack also. Now you can see just below the character portrait, the tick is there, so his Ghost Walk is ready to go. That's a little bit of a rocket damage from Tox, slowing down the push, but cYpheR looking for a way and not going to find it in the end. Sees the Mega's taken, backs off for a rail, and surely for the heavy as well that spawns momentarily.
You can see there, nice rail coming out from cYpheR. Just the ability of cYpheR to always get into a position to ensure he does some type of damage. He had no ability or right to be there on the Mega Health doing any type of damage without a rail. But zipping in, using that plasma trail to get in quickly.
Oh, this nasty rocket. He's going to try and chase it again. He sees that the Ghost Walk's used, so he's got to have a bit of paranoia about him. Awesome shot, and it's exactly while the rocket jump was made. Looks like some team tricking just then. Whoa. These disgusting angles available. Unfortunately, cYpheR not quite able to connect, but he's got to be certain that it's soon go time.
But cYpheR's got a perfect split on the items now with 15 seconds, meaning he can get up to the higher levels. As long as he hits the first shot, Tox has to back off.
Tox, I don't know what he can do here to defend himself. He's going to have to hit some extraordinary shots as that Ghost Walk is soon to be up. But cYpheR can't finish the job, so Tox is going to have another chance to escape. He's picking up health and armor. He's very early for the heavy, so he should be running around on no more than natural stack. Been found once more. And cYpheR, can he guess correctly? He's heard where he is, but rail's just skimming by.
Nice rail by Tox, but it is before the pickup, meaning cYpheR can just quickly zip around and get a couple of health bubbles. He's back to...
Oh, this is bad. Tox, he's trapped over here. He's only got 100 collective health and armor. cYpheR lands a rail. Still 10 seconds until Ghost Walk is there. Bolts into the rocket. And it is going to be cYpheR now to take the lead on the champion score. And he should have just seen the Sorlag of Tox moving around the lower part of the map. I'm not sure if he caught an eye on that.
There's nothing Tox can really do once again. He
showing his face.
Shouldn't really be here.
This is going to hurt a lot. cYpheR's just going to close the gap. This is surely going to be a dead Sorlag. Rocket's coming, it's going to hurt, but cYpheR now takes an edge on Blood Covenant.
Unnecessarily greedy coming out from Tox there.
Twice he's done that now, and in a very similar place. It's almost like deja vu.
It was, but there was also time constraints there. But it was, I guess it was his last chance to loom with only 10 seconds remaining, so I guess not.
Well, going to be forced into doing something desperate then. Absolutely. Tox off the beginning. There's a Swedish home crowd playing in Jönköping. I'm sure he's going to have some supporters in the crowd at the moment. But let's see what kind of speed and aim he's going to be able to bring to this duel, as such characteristics we're used to from him. Still hasn't set eyes on cYpheR, but going to run into just past rockets as cYpheR hits a lot of damage just then. Going to have to lick those wounds a bit.
Amazing prediction. Saw Tox on the bridge, turning around with his sliding and guessing exactly where he was going to be going.
Very even though. Barely any overstack, just cYpheR with that heavy. He's going to land the first shot too. Tox, again, going to be very measured in his approach. He's going near him. cYpheR misses a shot. This is a chance for Tox to land some damage. Mega spawns. Tox with perfect timing, and the Ghost Walk's just been used. He needs to get some kind of mid-air. cYpheR, what a rail from him. They exchange on damage, but the Belarusian is just reigning supreme right now.
No Ghost Walk from cYpheR, meaning he just needs to back off and try and guess where Tox is going, but cYpheR playing a much more positional game when that Slash is on the map, and as we saw before, expect to pick up the pace. Now he isn't.
Tox not quite hitting the shots we expect him to. Sometimes it can take him a little bit to warm up into these games. not quite hit that Terminator mode.
No, but it's always difficult against players like cYpheR that won't give you those easy angles. It's always a very difficult shot if you're going to hit them. Priority is always safety first.
cYpheR backs off after grabbing heavy. Ammunition looking pretty good for him at the moment. It's a little short on rails, but that's enough to work with. Might run into Tox. He's just around the corner, finds him. Rocket shared.
Both Ghost Walks are up, so if cYpheR is able to hit another good rocket, he could pop the Ghost Walk in retaliation and follow Tox to his doom. But instead, playing with the safer options, picking up the item, and here comes the aggression.
This is could be very nice attack, but the Ghost Walk is used at a perfect moment from Tox. Sort of paranoid read I think he got then. He's wondering why haven't I seen cYpheR yet?
Definitely, and it's a great inference from Tox. Just you have that nagging down as a player when no one's around, there must be something wrong.
That was an amazing rocket from Tox beforehand. He's got a bit of a chance to do something, but that Ghost Walk is about to be up. Rails landed from cYpheR. However, it's before the Mega Spawn. So Tox will be nicely rejuvenated and lands a fantastic jumping rail and the follow-up too. There's a frag for each. And Tox, he needs to win this round if he wants to stay in order to contest this first map. Careful, the Rockets has found him once again. Going to be chasing, but it is with the Ghost Walk, and he's going to run right in front of him. LG out from Tox, looking for some extra damage, but can't find the angle. cYpheR has quite a lot more health and armor than him. He stays there for the rail and hits it perfectly. Now Tox has got to fight back with the Sorlag, and that's not something that's been pretty yet on Blood Covenant.
No, but he does have a lot more time this time, minute and a half. But cYpheR's caught him off the spawn.
Whoa, that damage, the rocket jump to come up too. cYpheR looking to close this map out now. Looking for the rail, cannot hit it, and Tox has managed to find a good amount of health to keep him alive. He's also come in once more. We've got a mid-air from both of the players, though it is Tox who is so weak. cYpheR cannot force the fight now. He's going to be able to escape, but surely no re-engage.
But Tox went aggressive and didn't pick up the rail. This is something cYpheR can use if he wants to get back onto the high ground after this heavy armor. There's no way Tox should really be around. But this time it's cYpheR decides to backing off, playing the clock.
Tox really doesn't have that much in the way of weaponry, and he hasn't got enough health and armor to justify loads of rocket jumps. He's keeping himself weak, but he's also keeping himself mobile, I guess. It's still...
But as you say, without the weapons, this is just a rocket to...
Ouch.
What? Without a rocket, with just a rocket to play with, he needs to catch cYpheR, because there's no way you can kill him from range.
I do not know how he landed that. The Mega's up right now. Finds a possible angle, but cYpheR is going to back away. He just moves away to avoid any possible rails. Lovely movement that we're getting from Tox.
Yeah, but it's still, even with this speed, it's highly unlikely he's still going to catch a slash.
Oh, he's found him though. Rocket's looking to land. He's going to try and find one more, and cYpheR is going to land the finishing blow. That is going to give the Belarusian map 1. But there is still plenty of work to do here.
Plenty of work, but it's a nice round by cYpheR. We talked up Tox's aim the entire time, but as you can see, when you play dual smarter, you don't give your opponent angles. There's not much that Tox could really do in that game because cYpheR just played extremely careful, extremely smart, and once he had eliminated the danger that was Slash, obviously with that incredible speed advantage and something that Tox uses to the maximum efficiency, cYpheR was able to take the match by its throat and really strangle Tox out of it.
No, right. cYpheR was absolutely awesome against that, and I think finally we were seeing some kind of good plays with Tox's Sorlag at the end, but too little.
I think one of the mistakes was not just going up for the rail when there was about 50 seconds to go. He was right by the rail and decided to rocket jump round back around the side of the map. It's going to be almost impossible to catch a good slash in that situation, generally keeping the plasma trail in reserve and with the speed advantage anyway. When you're going at max pace by Sorlag, I don't even think you can catch a slash, so it was just a 50-50 call, bit of desperation.
I think there was even, if a couple of his rockets landed a little more directly at the end, could have, changed things up a lot.
Oh,
it's not that he had
yeah.
a tiny stack or anything, but you get into a rocket fight between Tox and cYpheR, then cYpheR should edge it out at least, 51% of the time.
I mean, it was a kind of 50-50 start, and it was anyone's game at that point because they both flew into the air, and it was Tox lost tracking a bit of cYpheR in that engagement. cYpheR, but apart from that, I felt it was relatively comfortable for cYpheR. I didn't feel he was exerted to the limit yet. So I need to see something extra coming from Tox in the next map.
Well, in Tox on the first map he played against Noctis in the quarterfinals, he lost that map and then managed to come back 2-1. And I think a lot of people counted him out as he didn't get that early momentum.
Yeah.
He somehow grew into that series a lot. Now I wonder if it's something that's going to happen now. We've got Corrupted Keep. It's going to be cYpheR, Doomslayer for Tox. He's going to pick his third now. We've got Doomslayer and Anarchy for cYpheR. I suspect we'll get a Nyx at the end.
Yep.
And that's going to be the Anarchy to complement the rest of the lineup for Toxic. Seeing very standard picks between the two players now, I find it very unlikely we'll see some clutches like we're getting from DreamHack and Rafa. But I mean, either way, it's going to be a very interesting matchup for either player moving into a grand final against someone who uses a champion that many Europeans don't have a chance to practice against.
Yeah, we're not going to see that here. I think DreamHack's obviously mastered it, but in terms of this map and these two players, if Tox can get that mid-range game going, maximize the lightning gun usage, he does stand a great chance. He definitely needs to keep that aggression going. That's the one time when he got into cYpheR's face that you could see cYpheR was under a bit of pressure. It was the first round that Tox won. That was when he was able to, he took the Nyx out very early on and continuously kept that momentum going. And that's when cYpheR struggles. And a map like Corrupted Keep, you can keep that energy up, you can keep that pace up. And cYpheR does struggle against that.
Well, let's find out what's going to happen now as we move into map 2 between Virtus.pro, cYpheR, and Toxic. It is going to be Tox off the beginning of this one with the cYpheR.
Needs to be careful going into that room. Nice read by Tox, understanding that. And he's going to force up the Ghost Walk as well, so an ideal start.
Oh, he's found him, but cYpheR's done a lot of damage. He gets a brilliant attack right off the spawn. Small movement error could have cost things a bit from Tox, but he was under a lot of pressure there regardless.
I genuinely thought he did more damage prior to the Ghost Walk, so the fact that cYpheR continued to go in was just extremely ballsy. And Tox is pushing at him, knowing there's no Ghost Walk.
Wow. cYpheR was looking for the mid-air to stop Tox from attacking so fast, but he really laid down the pressure, and that's exactly what we saw at the beginning of Blood Covenant. Just those early frags being exchanged
And you can see there the importance of keeping up the pressure. And this is particularly important against the Nyx. Once that Ghost Walk is down, you have that kind of 30-second window or so to maximize your damage you can do and kill them before they have that essential get-out clause.
Yeah, once cYpheR was able to get a couple of the right weapons, he might want to close the gap as he's got Berserker, but we've got pretty aggressive LG fight going on. There it is, mid-range once more. The Mega's down below, but it's so difficult to justify dropping. And
Tox doesn't know how low cYpheR is.
Oh, that's about 1 point of health, I think.
Quite literally 1 health. Oh well.
Well, he'll have another chance now. cYpheR not able to get any overstack whatsoever with the Mega, but still that 125 is not to be reckoned with. Gonna hear cYpheR moving across. Tox has had arguably some of the best tri-bolt damage we've seen this whole tournament, but is going to need something more on this one. Leaving the LG out of it. It's just a bit out of range.
Doing sufficient damage to push cYpheR back, and Tox waiting to deal some damage before moving back to the heavy. Also leaving a good split on the items, meaning if he can get the Mega, then there's an excellent chance he'll get the heavy as well. cYpheR recognizing it's been delayed, not seeing Tox on the map, pushes over. Does immense damage. Now Tox is in trouble.
That's so much chip damage. Tox going to have to back out. I think he's been pushed off the map, and especially after he delayed that heavy, I'm not sure he's going to be able to get onto an item yet, but we've got an LG fight. cYpheR's not able to get an extra angle. He's going to edge out. Tox is going to be able to hold on to this area, and now cYpheR has kind of given up the heavy. If he picked up the Mega very soon, he would have been able to pressure the heavy immediately.
Yeah, but the one thing he's got, Water Rocket, is he's keeping Toxic on the ropes by maintaining a key presence on the high ground and the mid ground. This is why Toxic is rotating from the lower ground. It's not where he wants to be. He's extremely vulnerable to all of these rockets, and it's a detrimental position to be in if you hit a mid-range engagement with the lightning gun as well. So Tox needs to find a way to get some stack and reimpose himself on the mid-level of the map, because cYpheR at the minute is just getting free damage over and over and over, and Tox can't do anything to resist that.
He's doing a good job of surviving over here at heavy, but he can't take this unreturned damage that cYpheR keeps on delivering upon.
No, but what cYpheR's done now, he did let up on the pressure. So Tox, they both got relatively even stacks. So this is where Tox can feel confident to get out into the mid-level of the map.
And he can get a bit more lightning gun ammunition if he wants. There's not much left on that weapon. as the item rotation is going to respawn in any second. And we're going to have an exchange now on Mega and Heavy.
Yeah, once again, just feeling each other out.
Oh.
They both lost their first champions.
Just the one bolt lands, but still that 50 damage again adds up. He hits one more, and this is building up quite a lot. A little bit of rocket splash, putting pressure on the 2 health bubbles there that cYpheR's trying to acquire.
But it's always dangerous to engage the Doom guy with that Berserk couple. Even though they both have it, sometimes it's the first punch wins, so...
You don't want it to come down to that.
Exactly. You want to decrease the reliance on that.
Again, they keep fighting each other on the control, re-exchanging control on certain parts of the map as time is moving on. But we've only got 45 seconds left in this round, and it does look like the first frag between the Doomslayers is going to decide who takes an edge in this corrupted keep.
Tox is making a move onto this Mega, but
cYpheR
recognizing that, understanding what Tox was planning, and falls down behind instead. Does some really great damage.
That's some good pressure. Tox holds onto a little bit of his life. That's a couple of wounds he's going to have to heal. And again, they're giving each other a lot of respect at the moment. They don't want to push in too fast on a fight. Ooh,
that's an indication Tox can make a move. This is why we see him pushing out immediately, because he knows this is his chance. Before the item comes up, he's got 5 seconds, but cYpheR's good defensive rockets keeps Tox on the defense.
Yeah, not willing to risk it just yet, but that was certainly, as you said, an indicator that I can push in now. He's going to have to do it again, though, and maybe at a different time on the rotations. I think cYpheR got a tiny bit more damage on the Heavy, but Tox is showing a little bit more aggression, a bit more confidence in this matchup.
And as you said, they're showing each other massive levels of respect, and it's those cues when you hit a little bit more chip damage than your opponent, your prediction rocket does connect. That's when your indication is to go, you smell blood, and it's about finishing it.
Well, the rockets are getting, oh my god, there. Tox all of a sudden lands everything. We saw cYpheR trying to make a very brave move as he left the Mega Health up.
It was the right decision, because Tox he had entered the zone early. As you see, Tox is on the low ground here, and he's three seconds early for the heavy armor, and cYpheR recognizing that missed time and poor positioning by Tox. It just, an incredible opening rocket cost him the round.
Those are very hard rockets to land from that angle, so that was exceptional from Tox. He's going to have a nice stack to work with at the beginning. Ghost Walk still to work with cYpheR. I think maybe some of that acid landed. Look back on that, but Tox spotted his opponent. Wants to surely close the gap soon. Force that Ghost Walk out. He can certainly afford to increase the pace of play here compared to our Doomslayer v Doomslayer.
He's making a very aggressive move here. Trying to force out the Ghost Walk, which he does successfully, but cYpheR also hitting those nice prediction rockets, meaning Tox needs to be slightly more careful with picking up the Heavy, and that delay allows cYpheR to get back onto the Mega Health.
As he's found him. I know that time's not on his side, but cYpheR hits a lot of LG damage and forces Tox away, buying himself the space that he needs, looks for an extra rocket, but won't get anything. cYpheR, the constant backing and forthing, and these rockets are so painful. cYpheR weak himself. I think they're going to break away a little bit.
Once again, trading items, both too low to really want to make a move in any sort of capacity.
Getting some very early use of the acid spit. Trying to get some kind of information from it. Nice little LG here. Forced to use the Ghost Walk because Tox is hitting just the right rockets to keep himself alive, but his health and armor.
They both keep they both keep trying to make a move, but from both sides, once again, the defensive rockets are just spot on.
It's constantly just doing enough damage, even when cYpheR's hitting amazing LG, he just holds him back. Now, the Mega, and in 5 seconds time, that Ghost Walk will be back, so could think about doing some more. It's an all right rocket, actually, but you need a bit more than that when you're going against the Sorlag.
And that's the problem, is that the Sorlag has such a great stack to play with that if Tox decides to take a posture in these very aggressive positions, cYpheR cannot engage.
Oh, the LG. Tox moves a little bit into range, or lets cYpheR to push forward, and he has to
be careful
fall back.
coming out the teleporter. Jeez, that was a bit careless coming out from cYpheR as he's forced to put the Ghost Walk again. He's mad to be doing this.
Unbelievable. The read from Tox on the timing he had on cYpheR using the Ghost Walk. He hits the direct needed, and cYpheR's not quite able to get that movement out of Ghost Walk to pick up the mega health.
And we see cYpheR this time not opting for the Doom Guy, instead opting for the Anarchy, feeling that the stalemate was too much last time and wanted to use the speed advantage, but he's in a terrible position down here. One good rocket could just get him away.
Tox can't give away the advantage too early on. Gonna have to get this health, gonna have to give up that heavy. The Mega's gonna be up in a second, so there's certainly some healing he can do. Pressure from cYpheR, but backs off expertly.
I really like the decision from cYpheR to go with the Anarchy, recognizing that Tox isn't himself overcommitting whatsoever, and that is one of the biggest strengths of Tox, is that he has this incredible ability to do amazing damage at the mid and long range because of his good weapon choice and his amazing hit scan, and he doesn't overcommit. He's extremely patient in that regard. So cYpheR, in utilizing Anarchy, is trying to exploit that and get around the map a lot faster. And the fact that they're trading items, Tox isn't putting any output damage in being aggressive on items, and that means the Anarchy is a bit of a safer choice because you're always going to have a good stack to work with.
Tox always seems like he just feels on the back foot. We've got to look at the clock now. Maybe he's going to work with it, but he's going to find cYpheR close range. He's forced to use that injection. That was almost a moment where he could really extend his lead.
Is more than likely going to stay back on this Mega side, just trying to get some information of where cYpheR is.
Can Tox start thinking about the clock at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. He just needs to maintain his stack and make sure he doesn't get in any bad positions.
He's has that LG honed in on that angle, but he's under pressure, and cYpheR takes him down. He knew he had to push at that point. If he went up the bounce pad, that was a critical moment for damage. Tox now on the Doomslayer.
And this is why we see such respect from both players, because cYpheR pushed in there with the Anarchy, a much lower stack, even taking damage prior to that, and did an incredible amount of damage with his hit scan. So this is why Tox isn't going overly aggressive, because he knows exactly what cYpheR is capable of.
I do kind of worry for cYpheR at the moment, because Doomslayer is really a brilliant counter for Anarchy. If he gets too close or moves around a corner too fast and Tox happens to be there.
Exactly, and this is why cYpheR is going to play solely on an information-based game. He isn't going to be flying around the map, around these corners, without knowing where that information is. As you can see, they're stopping before he goes out of the room because of exactly what you said. If he had popped his head round, One Punch Man knocks him out.
Well, Tox going to find him again. He's only got 125 health, looking for some extra damage, but he's going to have to escape.
Some
no
awesome
more rockets
coming out there from cYpheR, as he was in a very precarious situation.
Got the rockets back from Tox too. Spots cYpheR on the outline, looking for a bit of spam to land. I won't get it. It's actually cYpheR doing all the chip damage. Desperate to get something to tie up the rounds here on Corrupted Keep. So weak, and I can't believe Tox is pushing in. He's going to escape from this one. There's 5 seconds until the heavy's there. This is such a dangerous position to be, but fortunately for him, cYpheR's opted to keep control of his side of the map.
Yeah, but Tox is also very low. Now he's back up to a good fighting stack, but just needs to get into a position where he can engage cYpheR in a mid-range fight. He doesn't want to take on cYpheR in these close corridors just yet.
I think because that Berserk was used, cYpheR's not going to worry about that crazy.
Exactly, that's why he's backing off to the mid-level.
This is very important now. cYpheR to push in.
And this is why we see cYpheR a bit more confident to try and get in towards Tox's face.
Well, that damage, he's not even taking the mega health yet, and eventually is going to fall back. Cherishing his own stack a lot. So the bounce pad finds him for a second. I think we had a bolt landing on him then. Whoa.
Nice.
Not a bad rocket. But again, look at those tri-bolts. They actually have to...
They're actually rather annoying. I might have to start using them.
It's used in the right situations. It's definitely something that, I mean, if it connects, it's so deadly against an Anarchy. All rocket landed.
Tox coming in here.
That hurts a lot. cYpheR's lost a lot of health and armor, and this rocket splash is really starting to get to him, down to 41 points of health.
Rocket jump up? I think he should.
Oh, what a rocket! Unreal, Tox. The prediction on that was phenomenal. cYpheR was just under pressure continuously. His stack died, the injection went. What an amazing frag
Absolutely
from
casual.
Tox.
I don't know. Yeah, that was a really, really brave move on the Mega, and it didn't pay out.
Well, cYpheR to start here on round 3. Tox looking for a sweep on Corrupted Keep. He could very well get it. And he's pushing in. The rockets he still hasn't managed to get. He's forced to use that Ghost Walk. However, he did get the weapon he was looking for. No armor to take. He's got nothing, and the rocket almost takes him out.
Twinkle Toes just dodging out the way.
Is that your name for cYpheR, or?
Could be. My pet name.
It's just about staying on the outskirts of deadly range. At a couple of time shards over here, and he's almost going to have that Ghost Walk back up. And with a heavy in hand, he's going to feel a little bit more protected.
Yeah, cYpheR's doing a good job in trying to get into these. Nice. He's going to have to pop the Ghost Walk here.
Whoa!
Somehow getting off another rocket prior to doing that. Jeez.
Very, very close. Tox trying to force the situation just then did not end up being profitable for him. So work to be done now with Doomslayer. As cYpheR's probably going to be backing off for a while longer. Hope that additional pressure doesn't come.
cYpheR's just going to play plus back until that Ghost Walk comes off cooldown, utilizing these safe positions with multiple exit options to ensure that he doesn't get trapped. Picking up the time shards as well. He's going to feel slightly more confident. 3 seconds.
Oh, he's actually going in a little deep. Lands a direct. Next rocket almost lands 2. Tox has got some good spam to protect him from any follow-up that cYpheR was looking for.
I don't know if Tox has the lightning gun yet, which could be a problem if cYpheR decides to exploit that. Tox playing very safe around the heavy. Once again, trading. I would like to see a little bit more pressure coming up, but it does seem that every time cYpheR's tried to do that, Tox has been very ready for it.
Wow, he just went so close. Ah, that's so dangerous to do.
Tox is incredibly low.
Oh, that was insane damage from cYpheR, actually. He's going to find the angle after. And that's going to be another frag. I was worried that that would be bad for cYpheR, but he just hit everything that he needed to.
Caught Tox as well.
Where's he gone? He's right next to him. cYpheR, he's alive in map 2. Takes a round. And there's no sweep for Tox on Corrupted Keep.
No, that was much better played by cYpheR. But a little bit of a mistake coming out by Tox engaging so heavily with the Doomslayer, and somehow, like a matador, cYpheR popping the Ghost Walk at just the right time.
Well, cYpheR to look to expand on the good work he's done in round 3. He's going to have the rockets and the lightning gun and a heavy armor. And with that heavy machine gun too, you can do some good ranged damage against the Sorlag. Still to approach with caution.
Yeah, trying to get some sound cues on where Tox is. Not entirely sure still. Now he's found him. Gonna have to forfeit this mega health, but does some incredible damage once again.
Yeah, Tox has no armor after that. cYpheR's got plenty of resources to fall back on.
Oh,
He can continue this pressure. Tox comes in and he walks through the door quite far. It's another decent rocket, and again the pressure comes. Tox is only on about 75 points of health. He's gonna have to run his side of the map.
he also has no armor to play with, and cYpheR knows this, so I wouldn't be surprised that he would be trying to put on the pressure after this mega health.
Spots him down below, but not having the right momentum to push forward. That rocket could help, but Tox finds one more. cYpheR taken off guard. I think he just got a little bit greedy there for the damage and just a couple of missteps. And that's what you're punished for.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit surprised to see Tox there in the first place, because after that previous engagement, Tox was very low, but taking a much more aggressive position. And cYpheR here switching to the Doom guy, following in on Tox, knowing he's still got that Berserk up if he needs to use it. And the long-range shotgun, not ideal.
Well, he used a starting shotgun there, so he didn't have any access to something that could do longer range work. So could have maybe got more damage otherwise, but you pay for that short range work in this champion and weapon selection. cYpheR just checking out the heavy armor for information. It's gonna get sight of Tox over by Mega.
Defensive zoning spit coming out from Tox as he takes the low ground. Not willing to go into the mid-level just yet to engage cYpheR. Happy to zip around the tunnels of the map.
I do quite like actually how Tox is using the spit, not directly in combat, but really just as a full information play if someone is going to push through. Tox is moving out actually to get the mega health, manages to land good enough rockets to force cYpheR away.
Really was not worth it for Tox. He did deny it, but at the same time, he lost everything he was working with. So once again, yeah, he's going to have to stay on that back foot as cYpheR controls the mid ground, takes the more aggressive positions, and Tox relying very much on his defensive rockets.
Curious if cYpheR wants to push the situation a little further.
Tox's composure and patience is really impressive, as he quite happy with this one champion lead at the point in time.
Oh, amazing rockets from Tox. You can see that cYpheR's very happy to leave the items up to try and be a little bit of aggressive when he feels he has an advantage.
Yeah, and cYpheR realizing as well that this previous strategy was not working and wants to take the initiative to Tox, but Tox is realizing that playing plus back as he does find him here.
This is bad news for Tox, and it is going to be lights out for him as he gets punched down into the ground. And we are going to get the champion score tied up. Doomslayer now picked from Tox. As cYpheR's got a while on that cooldown. Tox still chipping away with those rockets. But the heavy armor pickup is really good for cYpheR. Full 100 resources from that.
Yeah, Tox wanted to engage while the Berserk is down, but cYpheR knowing that, keeping a good eye on him.
Is he knocked out? Oh, I thought he flew over the wall. Another rockets. They're not doing too much damage at the moment. The long-range shotgun is slowly starting to have an effect.
It all adds up.
Tox keeps having to cycle those health bubbles. More LG pressure from him. Heavy, spawning in a second. I think Tox hasn't gone over to it, actually. This is really, really bad for him. cYpheR's going to have a look, and he's going to see that the heavy's there, and he's going to be like, hang on a second.
Thank you.
Why is it up?
Christmas comes early.
Yeah, I'll take that.
This is where the pace begins to go. He knows Tox has nothing to work with now. This is why we see Tox walking around by the curved exit area.
Oh, he hasn't spotted him.
He didn't. He wants to find him. This is why he's continuing to pick up the pace.
Oh, that LG, though, from Tox. All of a sudden, all that overstack that cYpheR had has completely disappeared.
It doesn't matter. cYpheR's still picking up all of the items. They will have time, a lot of time, to get over to this.
Tox doesn't know
heavy
when
armor
spawns. He's looking at it. He's hoping that it's there. cYpheR's going to find him in a second. We got a good rocket. Mid-air's landing.
No!
It's going to be the punch from Tox. The perfect counters.
How does that reach?
Well, we've only got 10 seconds remaining. cYpheR, he's going to be in full desperation mode, and Tox is looking for any way to just stop him coming at him. cYpheR struggling to find him. We've only got a couple of seconds to go, and that is going to be it. Tox, he's got himself a map, and we're going to a tiebreaker over here.
Swedish legend.
That's it.
He's up 1-1.
And wasn't it great to see Tox performing this well in his home country, Sweden,
I mean,
from this crowd?
The analyst desk and we all predicted a Tox masterclass in terms of mechanics, but that was a Tox masterclass in terms of strategy. Realizing that all he needed to do was play patient and keep cYpheR at bay and make sure any engagement that he was going to have was going to be won on his terms. His defensive rockets was not something we really know Tox for, but the key things to stand out for me is he continuously kept cYpheR away when cYpheR was trying to take the initiative to him, and then when Tox went in for the kill, it just happened, and he made it happen well.
What do you think about the whole, you have the term, sometimes you associate Tox with having unbelievable aim, but the thought behind the duel isn't really that impressive. Do you think that's justified at all when we're seeing really good plays from him?
I think he has his own way of playing duel, and it's very positional, and as you saw, he wasn't playing in the typical way of trying to pressure items and making a presence on the map, because he knows his mechanical skill is there, that if a fight happens, he's willing to take it. And so what Tox makes sure is that he will always maintain his own stack. He doesn't really care about the enemy stack. He doesn't really go out of his way to make sure or deny items. He will do good chip damage in the mid and long range, and then he will make sure his positioning is always key and always strong for fights that he wants to take. Apart from that, he then plays a rather passive and defensive game, but does do some really good damage in the meantime. And so it's all about him feeling secure rather than going out of his way to make sure the enemy is continually weak and continually out of position. So he doesn't mind if he's not in complete control, as long as he's got a stack he's happy to work with. And that's a style that works for him.
Special weapon there as well.
That is...
Well, actually, for both of them, isn't it?
They're both. Well, I think cYpheR's actually using the classic WMO, and Tox is using a modified WMO with a G303 sensor.
Oh, I see.
Dropping knowledge bombs
right there.
on the mice for all you
beautiful stuff.
You tech fanatics out there and wondering what they are. I don't know what mouse pad that was Tox. It's not. It's an ice mat. It didn't look like an ice mat.
Yeah, so I think what he used to use. But
yeah.
you were talking about the way Tox plays, it has got that defensive passive style. You also have those moments where something goes off, if you flick the trigger and he has a slash. It's the slash that he...
It's mainly the slash. I mean, we saw it with the Sorlag as well, in parts, But he's one of these people that's very good at recognizing when that opportunity is there. And we don't often see him overextending himself. He's an extremely safe player, and he has ultimate faith in his ability and his ability to take these key one-on-one fights. And as long as he's in a position where he's happy and confident to do so, that's where the real Tox comes out. And ultimately, it depends on who he's playing. He's playing at cYpheR. He felt the pain in map 1 when he was trying to pressure cYpheR and he was hitting rails left, right, and center, and the rockets were smacking Tox in the face. So he brought the respect, scaled back the pace, and just played far more positional. And essentially, he out-dueled cYpheR in that matchup.
Interesting. Well, what do you think cYpheR's going to have to do now? Because we can see that he's not afraid to...
Well, this is why it's really interesting to me. I think that was cYpheR's map pick. I might be wrong, but either way, cYpheR... I was speaking to cYpheR yesterday, and he was saying how he thinks he can play the perfect game on Corrupted Keep. He loves the map. It's probably his favorite map, and yet he never really wins it. And it's one of these...
Unusual.
It's one of these dichotomies where he loves it, and he knows in his mind what needs to be done, and he can theorize what the perfect game is. But when it comes to practice, it never pans out. And so he's always kind of a catch-22, like, do I pick it, do I not? And he's committed to picking it, and once again, it hasn't paid off for him. Going into Ruins, I do have to phase the cYpheR again. I think this is a map that is... You can take up more aggressive positions, and it's a more strategical map, and we've seen cYpheR play some absolute masterclasses here, but the slash, it's going to revolve around the slash for me. If cYpheR can keep a container on that slash, I think then he will win.
Well, what's awesome is we're going to get to see them both play on a slash. We have got the slash Sorlag and Nyx picked by Tox, and we've got the slash Nyx and Doomslayer picked by cYpheR. Of course, always reminiscent of those good old Quake 4 days where they would have sparred back then as well. But action soon to begin here on Ruins. Whoever's going to be winning this map is going to be going versus Liquid DreamHack in the grand final. Someone who's been showcasing some immense skills at this tournament. And Tox, though, from Sweden, gunning to get the sacrifice win and the duel win.
I will say, though, I think the pressure's on cYpheR, not on Tox.
Well, let's get into it, ZSX. We're at DreamHack Winter 2017 for the Quake Champions Invitational, and I've just been told we're going to be jumping into a quick remake. So, oh my God, I was just brought to the absolute edge just then, and I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to
climax.
I did.
And then we bring you right back down to earth with setting you down. You get really into it.
I do. Don't you?
Yeah,
you're feeling
I do.
On on my behalf, I don't know.
I don't know. I can't get quite as hyped as you and Machiavelli.
I know. I'm so hyped right now. I'm wearing a jacket, and you're clearly.
Is that the limits?
That's it. I don't.
Like the blazer's out. Suit's here to play.
I don't get any more extravagant than that. I can see now you're no longer wearing a lumberjack shirt. So
no, I thought
clearly
for day
evolved
3, I will bring myself up to your level. I'll dress up a little bit for today.
It has been an interesting evolution for you actually throughout DreamHack Winter. You went from wearing a sort of scruffy jumper.
Excuse me?
Sorry,
I
bought that from Primark. It's fantastic.
It was a lovely grandma's knitted jumper.
Okay, well, fair enough. I don't want to diss that.
It wasn't around my grandma knitted.
All right, well, I will diss it then.
Okay.
It was awful. Then the lumberjack, and now this is it. This is the true sign. Next, if there was another day in DreamHack, I'd imagine the bow tie would come out.
I don't even think I own a blazer, so I can't live up to your example of, I don't know.
Yeah. And this time I actually managed to make my clothes fit as well, so I'm really...
It must be pretty hard given the length of your extremities.
Custom tailor.
That's very interesting. I know the secret now.
Well, anyway, as we bring ourselves back to level, into getting ourselves towards this game, you said you're still feeling that cYpheR's going to take this one down. I feel like I've been actually the only one on the desk who's thinking that Tox is going to take this.
I mean, I think cYpheR's going to take it, but I think it's going to be like a 3-1, 3-2. A close encounter. It's definitely not going to be a 3-0.
Okay.
I'm putting my cards on the table and saying that. I mean, Tox, I think, is now working out what he needs to do against cYpheR. We saw a completely different style on Corrupted Keep to Blood Covenant, sorry. But it was the rail game that won cYpheR that initial map, and this is Sarnath in particular. This is where the rail comes in to be most effective. And we know Tox has an unbelievably great rail, but cYpheR's positional game, particularly when utilizing that weapon, is top notch. And I think that's where we're going to see the slight differences in the game.
But to be fair, cYpheR's rail was absolutely on fire on Blood Covenant.
Yes,
I mean, he was hitting amazing shots, but it's when you have that combination of speed with Tox and accuracy. The way that the movement out is a tad different. Hello, Wins.
Lincoln and Wins.
Hello, boys. I've lost my trail of thought now. Yeah, the way that Slash operates a little bit differently to that Quake 4 movement, and you can really keep your crosshair plugged onto your opponent. I know Tox has even done some kind of vague clip tutorials to demonstrate really the full capability.
For sure. It is beautiful to watch when you see a Slash in full fluid motion flying around the map. But as we said before, it's one of these things that has huge benefits but huge drawbacks as well. It's actually, we saw in the climax of the Rafa de Hang match how sliding into a situation you're not happy with, you can't get out. But it's not like an Anarchy where you can just suddenly do a 360 and fly away. You have to follow their movement pattern. And people that really understand the intricacies of the game can abuse that fact where you can locate and decipher the movement patterns of your opponent and trap them in these situations they're not happy with. And that's one of the slight drawbacks of Slash. So it has huge advantages, but you need to be wary when using it as well.
I was also glad to see that cYpheR's evolved from the Galena play that we used to see before.
Oh, that was a dark time.
A dark time for cYpheR. But as we've discussed before, the emotions post-Italy Open, where he was at, and how he's transformed now. I think a lot of people, and I've got to say myself too, I doubted the capability of cYpheR. When you bring him to a stage, and when he's put the hours in, he's put the dedication in, he's almost been practicing in complete silence.
Yeah.
And now when things come together, this is really the time for him to come true. And with massive team Virtus Pro supporting him, I mean, he's got a lot riding on at the moment.
He does, and it's definitely a massive challenge. Obviously, missing QWC, not making it to QuakeCon due to visa issues, and not going to Denver either for similar reasons, and falling flat in the Italian Open in his first ever LAN in QC. This is just a huge hurdle. And you can see how much he has changed in kind of a month's time. Like, how long was it? Yeah, 3-4 weeks ago it was Italian Open. And as you can say, he's revolutionized his game. He's adopted what would be the current standard of picks. He's thrown the Galena out the window finally, and he's looking in absolute top form with the terms of his mechanics after moving back to the WMO. And I think he just feels confident in his gameplay. And you can see that when he plays, that he has a very confident outset. He's always taking positions that are somewhat aggressive. He's pushing it to the limits in terms of he gets that last chip of damage where most people will back off. And there's those small things that show an elite level player, but also shows that cYpheR is confident in himself. And that's a scary thought, but at the same time, the fact that Tox was able to meet that and match fire with fire on the last map in terms of strategy, that was very impressive as well.
Yeah, well, we're at a fascinating time in the lifeline of Quake Champions as well. We've had some amazing tournaments since the game's inception. We're going to quickly move into the champion pick and get things started once again, guys. And with lots of changes that come in a very exciting time in the game, with more changes expected coming soon, later in the month.
Yep.
It's great to see how quickly these players are able to adapt to the situations, and seeing that some of the old guys are still able to pull out the skills.
Well, they're not that old.
Well, they've been competing for years and years, and when you compare it to someone like Razy and even like Ron and others like that who have been notable performers in Quake Champions, when you give those older guys
it's crazy they're thinking back to like the
first... Sorry, I offend you.
No, yes. The initial days of Quake, when you see people like 0-4 and Cooler winning their initial tournaments, they were like 15, 16. People like Zron, even Claws like 18, 19, 20, 21, kind of technically really old in comparison to the early days.
Well, the chance they've been competing against these old guys in Quake Live before, and now they're getting a chance to really bring themselves onto the top stage. But it's just a formidable amount of experience, and being able to withstand the pressure. It gets talked about a lot, but that's for a very good reason. But we're doing it, guys. We are going to be able to go back into this tie-breaking map. We've got cYpheR under Virtus Pro, and we've got Tox from Sweden, who is going to be looking to take his place into the grand finals. Let's get this one beginning. cYpheR off the start. He's got the Doomslayer, he's got Mega, and he's got Rockets. He's got his eyes on Tox.
I expect once again the start of this game, the initial round, probably to be quite cagey. The items are split across levels, which means it's quite difficult to pressure both of them, and often what you see is a semi-stalemate with trading back and forth with the major items as one fills out the other. But it's also an extremely positional map as well. Given those different levels, you have varying positional advantage. And Tox at the moment with the preference on that.
Oh, cYpheR tries to make his way through the doorway. On the rails,
Nice.
Tox drops down and lands this absolutely sick shot. And he's got an amazing amount of health and armor to work with. He's going to look to pressure the mega health. Misses out on the rail, though. Fullback feeling happy with that.
cYpheR was just being way too stubborn. He was completely out of position as Tox had the high ground, and cYpheR was trapped in that room away from the heavy armor. Even if he had to forfeit the heavy armor, it would have been preferable to dying, as Tox had the complete control and the positional advantage.
Tox just checking that the coast is clear, and it absolutely will be, as he's able to take the heavy armor. And again, he's going to come up a little bit late, though, to mega health, but it's going to be... What positioning from cYpheR, just dealing so much damage. Tox, cannot quite find the rail angle, and a serious amount of health and armor is now disappearing from him. Rocket's close by, and that is going to be the plasma trail. He still somehow manages to connect with a rail to equal up those stacks. And that was the one thing stopping cYpheR from saying, right, I'm going to push in, I'm going to close this one out.
Definitely. That was a crucial rail if there ever was one, but absolute amazing play coming out from both cYpheR and Tox as they push everything to the absolute limit, get that last tick of damage, that last tick of lightning round on that fadeaway rail. Everything really adds up when you get to this level.
And it's just, again, what cYpheR's been doing a little bit, leaving up a heavy item when, you know, they're both synchronized and just looking for that position to do damage. And I think we can expect him to do that a lot more. And that, in some way, that was a wake-up call for Tox, realizing, okay, it's not so ABC right now, and things are never ABC with cYpheR. Let's be very cautious.
There is a semi-split between the items, a good 7 seconds, but given that it's the heavy coming up first, it is difficult to get back up to the mega, so still should see a trade here.
Absolutely.
cYpheR preferring to hit damage rather than jump down for the heavy. And he's caught Tox on the low ground here.
Yeah, Tox hasn't hit anything at all. His stack's slowly starting to disappear. Eventually a small trade. cYpheR spots him as he moves through. And now, time to select positioning for these items. He's going to use that plasma trail. He's blocked off the heavy armor and finds Tox. Can he get any damage? Just moves away at the wrong time. Spots just the flailing limbs of cYpheR.
cYpheR trying to outmaneuver Tox, but Tox extremely wary, not being caught up position, playing, once again, extremely safe, always leaving himself with exit options in terms of his positioning. And he's got a trap set up, but cYpheR this time not going to fall for it, not going to go into that area where that little corridor of doom.
Whoa, those rockets just sending him into the air. cYpheR can feel lucky to be alive. Tox got a lot of free damage, and he's going to get that acid spit going for any additional intel.
But yeah, Tox falling down, meaning there's not much he can do. Has to leave cYpheR to it as he restacks.
I think it's going to benefit him a lot getting that heavy. Great rail from cYpheR, but he's got a lot more work to do if he wants to take him down. Didn't spot where he was for a second, and it is, in fact, Tox that gets the unreturned final rail.
Yeah, a little bit iffy from cYpheR. I don't know what he's doing, but Tox getting much better of these trades so far. And the one thing that does happen, even if you don't get the kill with these traps and these engagements, is it gets into your opponent's head, as they always have to think twice about where they go and what they do, because cYpheR at the moment is being outmaneuvered by Tox.
Whoa, he's just right at the teleporter exit. Tox read exactly what cYpheR wanted to do just then, and he's on such a low amount of health. That's going to be Tox getting one more. And there's 45 seconds to go in this round. Surely this is going to be him securing the first.
Yeah, Tox reading cYpheR like a book. 3 or 4 traps in a row right there. And cYpheR playing doesn't seem to be... Yeah, I thought he was having mouse problems. Because...
Oh, I see. So he's actually looking to sacrifice this round in order to deal with something that's going on with his mouse.
I thought from that engagement, it looked like his mouse was kind of not working or getting stuck or something. And this is, I guess, one of the problems, unfortunately, when you do use the old device, is that there are functionality issues when using modern PCs. You could see in these fights how his mouse is just not tracking. I mean, it's one of those things. Okay, that's unfortunate. Very
unfortunate for cYpheR, but Tox still going to be earning that round. So when we move into the remake, we will spot that Tox is going to be just that one round ahead.
So it does look like cYpheR's now probably going to borrow someone's mouse.
Well, I hope it's something similar. You know, this is going to end up being one of those old stories. I know that Rafa had some problems with mice in the past, I mean, long time ago now. Is this going to end up being one of those, I don't know, almost memes that we get?
He's, what's his watch do? What, mouse meme?
Yeah. of some sort.
Probably.
Well,
What are you hinting at, Zood?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I haven't.
You normally have a hidden agenda.
I've got absolutely nothing at all, perfectly innocent over here. But still, it spells good news for Tox, and I think no matter what the scenario is,
irrespective of this, I thought Tox was playing remarkable.
Yeah.
He was just reading cYpheR, playing. He was controlling that mid-level on the back end of the mega health area extremely well, patrolling the top above rail, and it's just catching cYpheR time and time again. And while cYpheR was trying to rotate the map, Tox was not really playing into that. He was maintaining that strong position in the mid-ground, reading cYpheR's movement around the map and catching him off guard multiple times. It was, yeah, good play.
Have they checked that Too Good's in the crowd or nearby? Because he could just be pulling on the leads of cYpheR. His support is
Too Good at his PC problems.
His support is his teammate over there. Hopefully cYpheR's found a good alternative.
I mean, he's only recently switched back, so it's not going to be a massive change for him in terms of I'm sure he will be using the mouse he was using prior to switching.
Well, it's about to, you've got to get over that small mental hurdle. He's still going to have that focus and that drive right now.
How crazy would it be if it's a Tox to hang finally?
That would be very unusual. I didn't have actually Tox in my top 4. Prior to this
Your
tournament.
Predictions have been pretty dire.
My predictions actually have been. I was the only one who predicted the hang. Okay.
You're going to be claiming a number of victories. I predicted the hang.
Did you?
I was on panel though.
Me and you. Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't count in that case.
Yeah, but okay, you've got one all tournament.
That's not even true. I've been phenomenal this tournament.
Phenomenal, have you?
I have.
What else have you
Again, we need to get someone to do all the rummaging through all the VODs.
I only
to see
remember
about
you out-predicted me once. And you were just so smug that it's ingrained in my brain.
I know. I mean, I don't make people feel good about being wrong.
Yeah, you're pretty good at taking the high ground. As cYpheR does get set up here.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get that remake soon, guys. Thanks for bearing with us on this one. We are at DreamHack Winter 2017, looking here to see the climax on day 3 of this 350k combined duel and sacrifice tournament.
It's been a really good tournament, actually.
It's been absolutely incredible.
Seen some incredible duels, some unbelievable sacrifice. That last game was just mind-blowing.
Do you have any highlight? What's your personal highlight? Mine's probably the DeHang Kilson. I think that one was just...
DeHang Kilson, if it won from each, DeHang Kilson, definitely, and then 2Z Stacked was just...
I was not expecting that from 2Z Stacked. I know I went out on a bit of a call-out mission afterwards, because...
I had a hunch that Stacked would do something, and I wanted them to. But at the time, I did call 2Z, but I could have gone either way, so...
Yeah, and I know that things in the sort of the green room here and out in the crowd have been getting... not hostile.
Hostile?
But it's been passionate.
It's been heated.
It's been very heated.
You're a bit of a 2Z fanboy, though, so it was kind of
really
green room versus you.
I've got to try and remove that bias, but fortunately when I'm able to watch from the back, I'm able to be as biased as I like.
Yeah.
And I know cYpheR's been around as well. He's been trying to sort of pollute the streams in all the best possible ways. He's smiling at me now. Come on.
Oh my God, we're going to have, so it's just... We can't have any victories today. We can't be handling.
I'm actually concerned, properly concerned, and I might get another look from Machiavelli in a moment. Properly concerned that we're going to get a double NA victory, because Team Liquid versus Stacked is going to be unreal, and we know that last time they fought, Team Liquid came out on top. So. And with DeHang performing the way he is right now, DeHang is playing amazingly, and I want to remove any kind of bias whatsoever. This guy's a god.
We'll see who ends up qualifying for the final, but yes, DeHang is a beast.
Yeah.
Clutch is a monster. I think both of these players, they definitely have the capability to handle that.
Yeah.
I mean, both Rafa and Kilson found ways around the clutch to a certain extent. It wasn't the clutch that won those duels. So.
The mining laser. That's
it's
it.
That was a special. It's a good ability. Is it called mining laser?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
You just make terms up.
Well,
that's what
I had to believe
the
mining laser, and DeHang also, took from phrase the MIDI, which is
I'm not letting that stick in this
MIDI.
game.
It is a MIDI. I know we have those polls to see which players are winning. I think we should have one to say, allow MIDI as general terminology.
It grates on my ears when I hear that word.
Mid-air. Okay, I don't know. There's probably a fair few people out in the crowd at the moment who are feeling very hateful towards me, but I'm okay with that. I can soak that up.
You're quite hatey kind of, you know, your face, you've got a punchable face.
I don't want that on the VOD, as it looks like we're starting right now. So don't taint this this video we're going to be getting as it's come back into it. Tox is 1-0 up here at the moment in the tiebreaker map, but they will be getting restarted now on Ruins of Sarnath. Let's do this. cYpheR to start with. And hopefully all is well on his side. We know he just came off a small mouse issue. We don't know entirely how it's been resolved, but we hope that his head is deep into the game. He's looking to make a comeback from that early round advantage Toxic got.
I'm sure he will be absolutely fine. I mean, he knows exactly what's at stake. This is, yes, it's a big blip, but it's something that you can't let get to you. And someone cYpheR's experience, I'm sure he won't let it get to him. I mean, in practice, I'm sure he changes his mouse all the time, so it's going to be another day at the office.
He's not just like you know, where you chose to every round. Over here. A lot of damage taken early on. He's going to run into him. Tox is just still stood in the corridor. You've got to ask yourself, what was cYpheR thinking just then? But who was he to guess when the heavy's up? Maybe he assumed that Tox was going to take it, but he's the one leaving the item up and looking for that double back extra aggression.
It was a good play from Tox, reading the double back, as you say. cYpheR sticking around.
Whoa, he's going to find him straight away. Acid comes out, looking for a rocket. cYpheR on sub 75 points of health.
And remember, it is 1-0, remember, as well, so Tox only has to win 2 rounds. cYpheR has to win 3.
That's going to be a very useful heavy for him. He's got 300 collective health and armor now. Here's that the Mega gets taken. Spots cYpheR on the side, looking for rockets to move away as well from the lightning gun range. And just guarding the teleporter exit in case cYpheR decides to do anything sneaky. Oh, that rocket rail to follow up. He's not quite going to hit it. He follows up with another, though, instead. And one more angle is possible. He's got loads of ammo. He's looking to go in for the killing blow. Finds him on the side, but cYpheR slips out using the plasma trail. Oof, there's angles.
cYpheR needs to be... He needs to wake up to the fact that this is where Tox patrols in that mid-level. It's been multiple times he's been caught out now, so he can't be careless going through that area around the top of the railgun, because this is where Tox likes to patrol. It's where he has the most amount of information.
Whoa.
Finally, cYpheR realizing it, hitting 2 great rails in response.
This is very, very dangerous for Tox. He's going to show his face again, but this time cYpheR's got a different weapon selected. That angle is there. He's so weak. 3 points of health. cYpheR's surely got to be thinking about getting the job done now. A lightning gun. He's trying to spots the head of cYpheR, but the Mega is now going to be taken from Tox, and he might have just about enough to do something defensive.
It's cYpheR now taking that position up in mid-level as Tox is being forced down to camp around the teleporter until he knows exactly where cYpheR is.
Oh, the rail as well. The exchange is just...
Doesn't look like cYpheR's been very affected, hitting multiple rails.
Oh, he's going to find him. Actually, this is a great decision from cYpheR. He hits a lot of damage. Mega's up, and he's looking to get that angle over here. Finds it, but Tox! He gives it up. And that is going to be a champion down for each player with Mega for cYpheR. This means he can perpetuate that control a bit and maybe even continue the aggression.
It is slash on slash, and we know that Tox's slash is very powerful indeed, but cYpheR enjoying picking up the pace. His aim now looks on point as well. Will continue to do so as there's a long split between the items. We know he has plenty of time to get across and bully Tox away from anywhere within the zone. Could even use the Mega as a fallback if he needs to.
Oh, that damage over there. Toxic. He's on sub 100 health. cYpheR electing to get the Mega. And he's going to find him down at the bottom, missing out on the rail, and Tox is just going to swing on by. Laser beams flying past their head. He's blocking off that choke point as well, so he cannot follow directly. But Heavy's up, and Tox is still, he's working with far fewer resources than cYpheR.
Yeah, and so it's definitely initiative from cYpheR now to pick up the pace as he does with the plasma chopper. Gets hit with a direct, forcing him away.
Mega was about to spawn, but Tox has decided to leave. He's totally off the items. There it is, Mega taken by cYpheR.
He's trying to stabilize, but every time he gets any semblance of a starting stack, cYpheR's already on him and hitting insane amount of damage and forcing Tox out of position. And so at the moment, cYpheR has almost a monopoly on the major items.
I don't even know if toxjq heard either of the major items getting picked up. And not just for this round, but even for previous rounds.
No, and he doesn't have a timing at all. This is why we see him creeping very slowly around them, waiting for that timing to come up.
He wants to hit that early damage at least. He's going to find Mega, so found a good position to wait for the item. And now all of a sudden things are on his side. Is he going to be able to read what cYpheR wants to do around the heavy that spawns imminently? cYpheR's actually on the side and watching it. cYpheR believes that Tox has the timing.
Yeah, cYpheR's obviously very wary because Tox was able to sneak away that item, but just playing a lot safer now is cYpheR.
cYpheR is over just by the Mega health. I don't know if he's spotted there. Obviously, we've got the luxury of X-ray, but not sure if he caught a glimpse. Oh, hello. He's going to find him over there. Small amount of rocket damage. cYpheR going to take the lower route.
Rather off on that timing, Tox.
Yeah, it is a bit of a concern at the moment. But the one thing is, if you don't know the item timings, then it's actually hard to get caught off guard by someone leaving them up.
He picked up the Mega last time.
Yeah.
He was still 5 seconds behind. cYpheR, though, picking up the pace, knowing that Tox has nothing to work with, should be pushing in here, but Tox backing off into a strong position.
Oh, the switch just as Tox goes in for that information. Plays right behind him. We got 2 fairly okay rockets landed from Tox, and he's going to move away now with the plasma trail and back through the teleporter. Heavy, soon to spawn, and he's checking from the upper hallway.
cYpheR learning his lesson from the very first round now. Noticing and recognizing the advantage that Tox has on that upper ground.
Tox has just picked up a heavy for the first time in a fair while, and he's now in the room as well to pressure on Mega. He's taken both items. This could be a very big momentum swing favoring toxjq. He's landing the shots too. cYpheR really, he's in critical condition. Finger goes up, and he's out. Oh, this is going to be a really strong push, but he just doesn't make the move instead. Pushes through the teleporter, and that's going to be the one. The chase was very well executed from Tox, and he's just 1 round away now from a spot in the grand finals.
Definitely. Playing extremely patient. As you noticed, he had nothing to work with in that game, and cYpheR couldn't force anything. He was trying to pressure him, but Tox always made sure he had an exit point and always made sure he was well positioned to defend any of cYpheR's pushes. And he should have caught him at the jump pad here. He's going to force out the Ghost Walk.
This is really bad news for cYpheR, unless he can land some good damage on the entry. Finds the LG, looking for a mid-air. Tox is going to hit 1, and the splash is going to get a frag 2. Only 8 points of health remaining, but he's finding a couple of resources on the sideline, and he's looking to stack up ASAP.
Really, really smart move for Tox to move away from that heavy armor, because off the spawn, cYpheR was going to go aggressive with Slash, and Tox just forfeits all items.
He didn't even see the Mega. The Mega was right behind him. Is he going to go there again?
No, he's not going to go there again.
It was up there. All he had to do was turn around. He's going to find him on the side, and he's forcing cYpheR away. He's looking to try break it through that panel, but
you can see that how well Tox is playing in terms of positioning. Recognizing there was no escape options, so taking the strongest position by turning around in that choke point. And now he's got a decent stack to work with, so cYpheR's going to have to try and use that rail to whistle him down a little bit. Pushing into the Sorlag is a difficult ask.
Oh, cYpheR is just not guessing right. He's got to somehow dodge any further damage. Only 32 health left, but he somehow gets over to the Mega. Rocket to zone him away, and now pushing out. cYpheR's got the rail, though. If he used the rail before, he probably would have had quite an easy time of tying up the frags.
Yeah, I mean, they were relatively difficult rockets to hit. Maybe he's just not feeling entirely confident with his hit scan at the moment.
That is very, very possible. Now, Mega up shortly. Still plenty of time for cYpheR to engineer a route back into this, but there it is. On the Mega, gets great damage, actually. That was awesome from cYpheR. Heavy to come up. Is the coast clear? Absolutely.
Tox continually trying to retreat to this defensive posture, and he's trapped cYpheR, though, with some good rockets.
Amazing rockets, completely immobilized cYpheR. You could see that he was unable to move. When you rely as a Slash to jump and then slide, it was so hard for him to do anything. But the nail gun comes out, Tox all of a sudden, very weak.
And you can see that Tox, like we said in the pregame, not that bothered about controlling the map or really even picking up items. It's all about him feeling confident and making sure he has a good position to take these fights. And every single time cYpheR's pushing into him, Tox makes sure there's a relatively even footing in which they're playing.
cYpheR sacrificing some health for a rocket jump. He wasn't able to execute properly. There was also a moment a second ago where he almost pinned down Tox, but he just looked the wrong direction. Just a tiny, tiny misread, causing a potential lost opportunity.
Yeah, cYpheR already thinking that Tox is going to be playing the plus back game, playing for time, but that time Tox making sure he was around for the item and capitalizing on the mistake.
There's a return fire now from Tox. cYpheR really needs to put some pressure on at the moment because Tox's stack has gone from 0 to 100.
Aggressive play by cYpheR.
Oh.
Nice.
Tox is giving up a small angle over there, but cYpheR's not able to pull that one open. And it looks like Tox, from the higher ground, gets a bit of damage, finds one on the teleporter exit. Only 22 points of health left. The Berserks come out, and he's going to find a rocket. Toxic, he has done it. He has won the semi-finals versus cYpheR. From Sweden with a home crowd, he is going to be finding his way to the grand final, going versus DreamHack. What a series from this monster.
I mean, take nothing away from Tox. Yes, there were problems with cYpheR's setup and all of that, but Tox played an impeccable duel. He did what he was best at. He made sure that his positional awareness was on point. He didn't need to take the items. He played an extremely safe positional game. And every single time cYpheR tried to do what he wanted to do in terms of being aggressive, Tox was ready for him.
Now I've got to feel for cYpheR. He put so much into it. There is a small smile over there, but honestly, from everything that's been happening this year, he can still end this on a high note and feel good about all the work that he's done here at DreamHack.
Oh, 100%. Look how far he's come, as we said. Yeah. Even going into QuakeCon, despite not going, he wasn't looking anywhere near as sharp as he was this tournament. He has had a highlight reel of plays throughout, and for many people, he was the favorite going into kind of the latter stages of the tournament.
Yeah.
But Tox, he just met up against him, and it was just a brick Swedish wall.
Yeah, and I'm going to be so excited to see him in the grand final. It's going to be a Tox versus DreamHack one. Who would have guessed that at the beginning of the tournament, but two unbelievably legendary names to send us into an NA versus EU. But to wrap up that duel and also get an